So, in my childhood memories of my mother, the first image is always glamour. Maybe because I didn't grow up with her, so I knew my few photos of her better than I knew her. This perfectly poised, looked like a movie star woman with her dark hair piled on top of her head in this 1960s Audrey Hepburn beehive, a style she clung to well into the 1990s. She was a pretty, smart, funny, fairy tale kind of mommy who I always wished I could spend more time with. Instead, she decided that my father's parents should raise me, so I rarely saw her. Although I did see her every summer when, for 2 weeks, she would create magic out of nothing. I mean, this one time she took me to a fabric store where she bought me these huge sheets of chiffon fabric in purple, orange, yellow, green, so that the little neighbor girls and I could drape and pin them into, designer fashions with her faux jewelry and her little miniature wiglets piled on our heads. We looked glamorous. And afterward, I begged my mother, "Mommy, why can't I live with you?" Until she blurted, "Cara, you have to stop asking me. I can't take it anymore." I'd had adults yell at me in anger before, but never had I seen a grown-up look so wide-eyed with panic, so that I wondered if it was even safe to live with her, and I never asked her again. I was in college when her third husband called to tell me he had had her committed. And after she got out, she called me to reassure me, "Don't worry, honey. I just have this little chemical imbalance in my brain, and it makes me have these mood swings. So doctors gave me some lithium, and it evened me right out." She never used the words bipolar disorder. My Psych 101 textbook had to break that to me. The few times that I ever saw her mania, it ranged from things like her childlike enthusiasm over her latest midnight closet reorganization project, or her fear of going out in public where strangers lay in wait to poison her with hidden needles. And so I decided that I, wouldn't spend that much time with her, and my mother insisted that I mostly get to know her through long phone calls. And we became very good friends. Then one day in 2017, my mother calls me from Kansas, where she lives, to tell me that her husband of 40 years has just passed away. And I say, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Mother. I'll fly out right away." And this offer makes my 77-year-old mother come unglued. She says, "No, I don't have any time. There's too much to do. You can't come." And I say, "Yeah, Mother, that's the idea. I'm going to come help you do those things." She says, "No, then I'll have to explain it to you, and it'll just get harder. Promise you won't come." And I say, okay. But I gently keep offering, until one day a hospital calls me to tell me they have my mother. And I'm thinking, psych ward. But no, they say she has heart failure and acute confusion, which is their euphemism for dementia. And I fly right out to Kansas. And when I think I'm gonna, at 55, finally get this mother-daughter bonding time that I have always waited for. But when I arrive in her hospital room, I can see that I have waited a little too long. It looks like all the madness that she has been struggling to hide for years is exploding out the top of her head. Her white hair is in this sort of swirling tangle of tiny little braids and ponytails that are in such disarray. She looks like a demented 2,000-year-old I Dream of Jeannie, who was 2,000, by the way. And there's this one chunk of hair that is so ratted that it looks like a cat's hairball, and I cannot get a comb through this thing. And so finally, I just have to cut it out like hair with gum in it. And now she has this big bald spot. But she insists that I gather the few surviving strands into this little tiny wispy ponytail on top of her head. And after that, there is no putting this genie back in her bottle. Her home, which is this charming farmhouse that is aggressively tidy, is nonetheless overrun with a family of field mice, more than 36 bottles of witch hazel, and more than 100 spiral-bound notebooks filled with her scribbles of everything she's been doing every minute for the past 20 years. For example, clean eye area, put on eye makeup, make coffee, fix front of hair, brush teeth, take 2 cups of coffee to my husband, talk to him for 20, wash my chin. Wash her chin. I move her to an assisted living facility across the country, about 10 minutes from my house in Ventura, California, so that I can look out for her. And the night before I move her into this new place, I let her stay at my house with my husband and me, and I try to make her look a little less alarming for her new neighbors. I take her to the bathroom sink where I wash like 2 months worth of flaky white hairspray from her greasy hair. And she loves this. She says, "Oh, would you please scritch my head? Oh, that feels so great." You know, and I love that too, that feeling of my scalp massaged by hands other than my own. And I just want to live in this moment. And then she puts her hair back into the little fountain ponytail and says, "Do you have hairspray?" And she's dismayed that all I have is this stuff called product. But in some confusion, she takes this purple goop and just pats it into the tips of her bangs until they look exactly the same, which is the point, you know, to have one thing in her life that's not going to change. Actually, 2 things. So every single day, she wears the exact same outfit, this blue denim jumper dress with a little white blouse with a Peter Pan collar. And think of like a cross between Little House on the Prairie and Hippie Flower Child. And every day I ask her, "So, Mother, do you think you might change clothes tomorrow?" And she says, "Why? This outfit makes me feel normal." And I say, "Well, you know, it's a little odd to wear the same clothes for 2 months." She says, "Well, I am odd, and people might as well get used to it." She has a point. So finally, one day I go to pick her up to take her to a cardiology appointment. And when I get to the door, I see her ponytail is like listing sideways. Like it's as exhausted as she is by the sheer effort to stand up. And I think, okay, I can't make her change that schoolgirl outfit, but I can fix that damn little ponytail. So I sit her on the toilet and I pull the ponytail holder out and I take out like 36 bobby pins and I start combing her hair. And then my phone rings and it's somebody calling about her estate, which is in way more disarray than her hair. So I drop the hair and take the call, except then my mother starts to fall off the toilet. So I drop the call, grab the hair. I'm like, I've just got to slap this ponytail together and get her the hell to the doctor. Except I've lost the thing. I can't find the thingy. So I've lost her ponytail holder. And I, in a total panic, turned that bathroom upside down. I'll admit, I'm a little manic. I mean, let's face it, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And so when she sees me on my hands and knees crawling around, she says, "What are you doing?" And I admit to her, I lost your ponytail holder. To which she replies, "Oh no, oh my God, what are we gonna do?" My mother's whole body is failing. Like heart is failing, kidneys are failing, her brain is failing, but this doomed ponytail is like the last straw for both of us. And now my mother's not at all what I'd call a church-going woman, but right there on the toilet, she bursts into fervent prayer. "God, please help us," which is really sweet, but she won't stop. "God, please help us. God, please help us." And I'm thinking, should I just give up on the ponytail? Will she freak out more? "God, please help us." I say, "Mother, that's not helping." I mean, the praying, it's great, but maybe silently, I'm trying to think. And so she shuts up just as I fling open the medicine cabinet door, and what should fly into my face but a dozen brand new ponytail holders, which I've never seen before. I didn't buy these, and I think, wow, could she have like practiced this power to perform miracles before? Say like 45 years ago, when I had to stop her from jumping out of the boat on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland because she was scared. Not of the animatronic pirates, although they are kind of creepy, but of the dark. And I was more scared than her because I was 10 and she was supposed to be taking care of me. But that was the first time in my life I was grateful to my mother for having the wisdom not to raise me. And it's what made me the woman standing in this bathroom, able to recognize I can't control this situation. And my mother is the one with the right idea. Just pray for something small, a tiny piece of elastic. Because let's face it, she is never going to be normal, and neither am I. But right now, we're smiling at each other in the mirror because I have made her a little I Dream of Jeannie ponytail that makes her feel normal. And for now, that's enough. Thank you.